Professor Jean Emmanuel PONDI, where does your interest or your passion for international relations come from?
I come from a family where my parents were diplomats, so we were abroad, outside of Cameroon, since the age of 14, basically. So I lived abroad, outside of the country, and I learned to interact with foreign civilizations, foreign countries, and I would say foreign environments, and also learn to like and appreciate what is different from mine and from my own culture. So I think that is really the beginning of that call, I would say, for international relations, from a family background, basically.
Some would say that the international power imbalance is perhaps not the only reason for the silence of African leaders. What are your thoughts on this statement?
When you say silence of African leaders, it may not be exactly true. African leaders, some of them speak, but are they understood is the real question. And I doubt it that they are very well understood, because the platforms in which they speak are not the most popular platforms. The question is, why is Africa's voice so hard to hear? And my answer is that because we are not united. When you have 55 countries which come, each on the stage, few people will listen to them. But if those 55 countries speak as one voice on a continent for 1,300,000,000 people, everybody would have to listen to them. So the point is to have common approaches and common positions which will be heard, which will be noticed, because precisely they come from a united continent. And it's difficult to ignore a united continent because its weight is real on international affairs. So I think that is what we have to reconfigure to make sure that our voice is heard, because we are united, because we are strong and not weak.
African presence within the major continents is an opportunity for the Africa of tomorrow. Do you agree? And if so, what way can this opportunity be useful to Africa at this point in time?
Yes, often slavery and then colonization have been taken as very bad occurrences. And it's true. These are catastrophic occurrences. But after 1, 2, 300 years, it seems to me that the time has come to look at how to take advantage of that situation. In fact, Africa has been transported forcefully, it's true, on other continents, like the Americas, North America, South America, and the Caribbean. There you find a strong African presence. If you go to even India, you'll find that there are Africans who've been transported to India as well. So even in China, in the past centuries, Africans went to China too. So now the question for us is not to lament on what had happened to us, which is of course not good. But the question is how to turn it into a positive experience and take advantage of the fact that we have been projected on all those continents. Now we are part and parcel of those continents. How to take advantage of that, how to use that presence to project African civilization, African ways of life, and African know-how to not invade, but to be present on those continents and make that presence an advantage for Africa itself. I think this is really today what kind of questions we should be looking into, rather than stop at lamenting of what happened to us. We're not the only countries or the only civilizations who have been enslaved. Even the term slaves comes from Slavs, meaning that it comes from Europe originally. But now we can capitalize on that. We can take advantage of the fact that we are there and project our civilization, our know-how, our technology, our philosophy around the world, because we already are present there. In a country like the US, it's 12% of the population is from African descent. What do we capitalize? How do we capitalize on that fact? These are questions we have to answer.
Do you have any more messages for the African diaspora?
The African diaspora, according to the African Union, is the sixth region of the African Union. Africa is being divided up into 5 regions: North Africa, West Africa, Central Africa, East Africa. So there is a 6th region, which is the diaspora. So they are included in the count of African regions. It's important for them to understand that they can contribute to the growth of Africa, just as the Asian diaspora did for China. Without the people from Hong Kong, without the Chinese of the United States, United Kingdom, and Europe, and so on, China would not be what it is today. So we have to understand that they must be part and parcel of the African revival and African renaissance. It's very important. They must play their part because they have the technology, they have the know-how of what we need. We have a recent diaspora that has left only 10, 20, 30 years ago, but we have an old diaspora that has left 100 years ago, 200 years ago. These are still the children of Africa, and we must make them feel that they are children of Africa. They can come here in Africa at any point in time when they want to come. We must welcome them, but we must also know them. Many of the Africans on the continent don't know the diaspora of America. They don't know the diaspora of Asia. They know nothing about them. So how can they come here if we ignore them? We must stop to have that attitude and rather include them and ask them to come back, if only to discover their roots and then bring their contribution to the development of Africa. But development according to our own terms, not development according to terms of others on us. I think that is very important. We must define the character of the development which we want, and we must also declare ourselves willing to follow that path. It's not up to others to tell us what we should do or should not do. We must not accept that anymore.
Well, Professor Jean Emmanuel PONDI, thank you for this interview, thank you for your time, and Culture FM wish you the best.